Tenerife, the new normal for holidaymakers, as Tenerife reopens to tourists. The new normal in Tenerife, on your flight and at the airport. The use of a mask is mandatory both on your flight and within the airport. Each passenger will have a pre-assigned seat number. Passengers will be required to give their personal details, onward accommodation address, health details, and their arrival flight details. This information will be held for a minimum of 4 weeks for track and trace purposes. You will be subject to thermal camera temperature checks on arrival and may be subject to further random checks. You are advised to check in online for your flight, and note, many airlines no longer allow carry-on baggage. The new normal in Tenerife, out and about in the streets. Masks are mandatory for anyone over 6 years old, in general public places, inside public places, and on all forms of public transport, and whenever the minimum distance of 1.5 metres cannot be respected. The only exceptions are when playing sport, when eating and drinking, in the case of disability or respiratory disease. The new normal in Tenerife, in shops and establishments. New rules regarding capacity have been put in place to avoid crowds, and measures have been put in place regarding disinfection, prevention of infection, and reconditioning in all areas. Communal areas will have appropriate organisational measures to avoid crowds, ensure customers and staff can maintain a minimum safe distance of 1.5 metres. The new normal in Tenerife, hotels and accommodation. Each establishment must have a specific contingency plan to reduce and avoid the spread of COVID-19, with the aim of complying with all of the hygiene and cleaning measures that have been reinforced, as well as staff training. Fabric items in guest rooms will be kept to a minimum. Spare blankets and pillows will be protected. Large gatherings should be avoided, and any use of communal areas must comply with the 1.5 metre social distancing rule. Entertainment will be in the open air, maintaining the 1.5 metre social distancing and avoiding the exchange of any materials. The same applies to swimming pools. Hand sanitizer will be at the entrance of restaurants. Tables will be at least 1.5 metres apart. Tables will be cleaned and infected between diners. There will be no serviette holders, cruet sets, toothpicks, etc. And the buffets will have a protective screen, and food will be served in individual portions. The new normal in Tenerife on public transport and car hire. On all means of transport, companies are obliged to comply with specific health and hygiene standards. All must have the maximum allowed capacity and the measures that they have adopted to maintain social distancing clearly visible. Buses will be boarded by the rear door, and you will have to follow the seat recommendations if places are not assigned before your journey. Rental cars will be disinfected and used on a rotational basis. The new normal in Tenerife on the beach. Social distancing of 1.5 metres must be maintained at all times. This limits the capacity to 4 square metres per person. Some beaches are offering a prior reservation system to prevent overcrowding. Sunbed services will comply with security measures through correct cleaning and disinfection between clients. The use of a towel is mandatory. Groups of sunbeds will be separated by 2 metres, ensuring the correct safe distancing with other beach users. The use of showers and foot washers must be carried out respecting the 1 person at a time rule. The new normal in Tenerife in nature tourism. Outdoor and nature-based activities such as hiking, cycling, paragliding, surfing, wind and kite surfing, diving, birdwatching, whale watching, etc. are all allowed. Companies that specialise in active tourism are obliged to comply with all the relevant hygiene measures, disinfecting the materials after each use and respecting the safe distancing. When this is not possible, masks will be worn. The new normal in Tenerife in culture and nightlife. Parties, festivals and popular events remain suspended currently. Guided tours are allowed, but without the use of audio guides and brochures. In the island's theatres and auditoriums, seats will be previously allocated and only set together in the case of groups who live together. Outdoor tables at nighttime venues are now allowed. The use of dance floors is still restricted.